Hi there, my name's Mrs. Pritchett, and I have your son or daughter in Survey of Math, mostly a senior class, getting ready for like military ASVAB placement tests, or if they're going to college in a non-math science major, the AccuPlacer test we prep them for. Or going right out into the workplace or an internship somewhere. So I try to hit all those topics that they would see in any of those circumstances. So a couple things I wanted to go over for Survey of Math. Right now, I don't have any remote learners. It's the only class I don't have a remote learner in. But let's say if somebody was absent due to illness, or they had a doctor's appointment at a different time, but not enough time to get back for class, what they could do is they could join, just like a remote student would, the virtual class. And this is how you would do it. They would click on the waffle. They would go to their Google Classroom. And the students would see like math, science, English, social studies, all the classes that they take in any electives. But for me, these are all math classes because these are the different math classes that I teach. And they would click on Survey of Math, fifth period. And under the stream here, let me move my embedded picture. But under the stream, here's my stream tab for Google Classroom. They see the title Survey of Math with my name. They would click on the Google Meets link, and I would be on there. So they could do that. So while we're in stream, I want to show you some different things that I've placed here. First of all, I've placed a graphing calculator that they could just click on, and it's a TI-84, just like we use in the classroom. And they could click on that and have a virtual graphing calculator that they could use to do computation or graph lines or whatever. And then this is a Bitmoji classroom. These things always stay in stream. They never move. And this is just, that's my avatar. That's me. But there's just different things that they can click on here that are just make things convenient for them to find. So for instance, here's my email that they could click on if they needed to contact me. Or over here, I've got a Google Classroom cheat sheet that they could click on the picture, and then the link comes up, and it just tells them different things on like how to work things in Google Classroom if they get stuck with something. It's the calculator again, graphing calculator. This is what it looks like. And then you just click on the link and it calls it up for them. And then a math reference sheet for a state of New York. And there's the link for that. So that's always there, my little Bitmoji classroom. And then down below, this is more for the parents. The kids don't really pay attention to this. But this is what Survey of Math is for. It's a fourth year level for math. So they take it mostly as seniors. I do have some juniors in here this year. But it's to get them ready to take the AccuPlacer college placement tests or the military ASVAB tests, as you can see. And then there are topics in like pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, algebra 2, things that would show up on those kind of tests. And then I also do some consumer math units with, we just got done with buying a car and using research and data, and then the math behind it using a payment calculator. Grading policy is sort of important here. Any assessment like tests or quizzes that we do in class is 85% of their grade. I don't give homework in this class, so they're only doing classwork, and that's 15% of their grade. The only time they may get something to bring home to do, and I've just put it under homework, but it originally was classwork, and for some reason it didn't get done. So probably most likely they were absent, and they need to just finish it up for me at home. For the final exam, it's non-regents. Usually I do a multiple choice component at the end of fourth quarter. And so they don't have to come in on our half days because we get everything done. And then usually 2 projects. So we just finished one project with the consumer math stuff about buying a car. And then we'll do another one second quarter. And then I'll try to fit one in third quarter. It just depends on when everybody's taking their placement tests. Also, the attendance policy I talked about a little bit. If they're absent from school but not sick, so that they can join the Google Meet and see what I'm writing on the board, I just project it right out to them at the same time and they can ask questions. It's just like them being in class. I would like them to do that and then not get behind in the math. And so they can just join us, and then I just send them what we're doing, and they would see it on the board, and they could discuss with us just like they're normally in the classroom. So, and I just went through how they could do that under the Google Class Meets. And most of the time, they're not in stream unless they need one of those things right there. But they would be in classroom. So the second tab up here is classwork. My bad, I said classroom, classwork. And I'm going to go through the remote day because it's got all the different things that I use on it. It was our practice for today to see how their technology would work. So they would see the title and the date. So I have like this consumer math. Those are all the topics we did under consumer math. So they would hit the remote practice day is what we're going to look at today. And they would see all the instructions that I have there. And then they might have to hit view assignment if they can't see everything in there. And then, for instance, this is what I was talking about. These two, the top one and the bottom one, are videos. And I just had to test them with the kids to see if they could get one made by somebody else and call it up and watch it, and one made by me and call it up and watch it. So here's one that I did. So this is like if they have an appointment and they can't join the Google Meets, then they could go to an instructional video, or like kids in the classroom. Let's say if we did something and they're like, oh, I don't really understand that. Well, when they go home, they could just call up my instructional video. All right, it's already Wednesday and we're still doing Pythagorean theorem. Now, this is very quick. It's only one slide to go through because all you're doing is the same skill that we've been doing for 2 days. So Pythagorean theorem, you're going to tell whether a triangle that they give you is a right triangle or not. So the key is it's going to be yes, you have a right triangle if the sides work in Pythagorean theorem. So if sides work. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. So that's an example of an instructional video that I did. And then the one up above is one that somebody else did. So they can click on that and see the difference. If I had an assessment and it was multiple choice or maybe a few short answers, I would do it through this program called Problematic. So they would fill in their name and then my name and the class. And then they would answer the questions. I only have 3 on here about length just to test and see if they could do it at home. They would hit submit, and it wouldn't go through Google Classroom. It would go straight to the Problematic software that I have. And then it just shoots me an email telling me who sent it in, and then I can go find it and grade it. And let's say I have a different kind of worksheet, like a formatted one that's got images on it, like math images. So they would click on that and call it up, and then they would come up here at the top and open with Cami. And what that does is it allows them to work right on the worksheet and write on it. Now I need to convert that. So it takes just a minute. And there we go. So what they can do is they can mark up, which gives them like a highlighter. So if they wanted to highlight something, I didn't choose color. Why is it not highlighting today? I don't know. I'm going to have to work on that. Let's see if the text box. So let's say they wanted to answer this question. Yeah, that comes up. How many kids like apples? 4. So they can type in. That's good for any kind of English annotation that they want to do. Let's say if they're going to write something down, they can write down lowest Now this takes a minute because you're doing it on the mouse pad, but they can answer questions that way. They could draw a shape, pick a color. Let's say they have to make a line showing increases or decreases. So they could see a trend. So it's just a way to put things on your paper. Now, if they needed to send this to me, there was my light again. If they needed to send this to me, let's say they filled it all out, a good way to do it would be for them to hit download in their Google Drive, because their computer is not a saved one. It's a Chromebook. So Google Drive with annotations means how they marked it or how they put answers in and stuff like that. And then they would export it. So it goes to their Google Drive. Open. So there we go. It saves it in their drive, and then they would click on that, and then from their drive, they know how to send things to me. So it would go straight to Google Classroom. All right, so that's another type or format of worksheet, or it could be assessment that I send them. And let's see if there's anything else in there. I rarely use Google Forms. I just did it for the technology because it gives me, it's almost like a survey, and it gives me results already tabulated in percent. So I know, like, could students do this? Could students do that at their house for the different format things that I use? So they did that today, but normally I don't use forms for math things. But that's how we run class now with all this new technology stuff going on. Once again, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. You can email me with that link I provided under the stream, or you could call the school if you needed to. But thanks for letting me have your students in class. I really enjoy that class. It's a fun one. Thank you.